Hi, this is Matthew and welcome to another daily review. Today we will be reviewing the new Nosphere EP. I found out about Nosphere when he did his track for Savage Selects Volume 4. I quite enjoyed that track, but will he live up to that standards? Yes. The first track and title track of this EP is Shadow Slayer. It's a very cool intro and it's very apparent that he's put a lot of time and effort into the intros of every one of these tracks on this EP. When we get to the drop, the main sound sounds very much like the sound from Iron Fist, but it still sounds very different. He just reused the same intro and build-up in the second half, which I don't really like. He could have at least put some subtle changes in there. I find it just a bit lazy. I much prefer the second drop to the first. It's a lot more sporadic and there's a lot more sounds that come in. I love the little breaks in the drop that he uses to implement something creative in there, and I personally love this track. The second track of this EP is called Running. Again, with this track, there's a very good intro. A lot more simple when we get to the drop-in-drop structure than the last one. I still find it very nice, but very heavy and effective. The vocal sample used in the middle of the drop is incredibly loud and grating, and I have no idea why. There's very deep sub-bass in the second half that I absolutely love. In the second drop, it's quite generic, but very effective fake out. The second drop, in all honesty, doesn't differ from the first drop, and that's a little bit lazy. Also, one last thing to mention, the oof sample at the end, I have no idea why he put that in, but it doesn't work, and it just ruins the overall atmosphere of the track. The third track on this EP is Lizard Pit. It's, as I've said about all these tracks, there's a very good intro, but in this one, the breakdown is absolutely phenomenal. I think it just sets the whole mood for this track. After the vocal sample, it just cuts out for a really long time, and then comes back in with like shotgun blasts, and it takes you by surprise. And then an amazing high-pitched sustain bass comes in. It's brilliant. There are points in the drop where there's no sound, and then you just hear the sound of the guns, and I love it. The second half changes everything up with different sound design and different everything. In the second drop, there's a different fake out, but it leads to the exact same drop. With all of these tracks, most of these tracks, I found that there are no outros. It just cuts out after the second drop. I don't mind it, but it could have been done a little bit more creatively. The fourth and final track on this EP is 666 Hertz. I really feel like I don't have to talk about the intro anymore because all of the ones on this EP were amazing. The build-up seems quite sudden into the drop, but after the vocal sample before the drop, there's a bit where steel drums come in. I love it, and it just pelts you right into the drop. But then the drop lacks a little bit of impact. It's fine. The second half of the drop is very similar to the first half, but with a couple of pattern changes. But in the second drop, everything is the same as the first. Even the steel drums are the same. He could have at least changed it up a little bit. Despite what I said last track, this track actually has an outro. But it's the exact same as the intro. But at least it's an outro this time. I love this EP, but there could have definitely been a lot of change-ups in the drops that there weren't, and he doesn't act on a lot of the opportunities that he has. There's a lot of creativity. Overall, not a bad EP. 7 out of 10. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more. I do reviews daily. Thanks for watching.